Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF Bets race of the day for Wednesday, June the 27th kicks off the late pick four at beautiful Belmont Park. It's race number 6. It's a 2-year-old maiden special weight, and you can bet it with your own DRF Bets account. Sign up right now, access $100 in free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Let's take a look at this field of babes going 5 furlongs on the spacious Belmont main track. You can access free Formulator Pass performances on the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them. You've got some great pedigree information in there, and handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order. And Matt, we don't have to tell the folks at home that Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez with 2-year-olds, always dangerous. The one, Lexitonian.
Yeah, no bargain breaking from the post in the career debut, but I mean, this is a horse that's been up at Saratoga with Todd String for a little bit here. Speightstown, we know what he's capable of, about 14% with the first-time starters at a 2-year-olds. The dam herself, she was 1 for 5 as a 2-year-old. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this horse run well. I also expect this horse to take the lion's share of the money. You see 2-to-1 second choice in the morning line. I'd expect this horse to be right in that ballpark, and I expect a decent effort.
Little speed in the pedigree. You mentioned the dam won at 2 at a mile with a 59 buyer speed figure, but this second dam was good enough to win the Grade 1 test, the signature race for 3-year-old filly sprinter. She was trained by the late great Alan Jerkins. Lexitonian probably shows speed from the inside post. The number 2 is Bankit going out for the Steve Asmussen barn. This one is my first crop sire, Central Banker, who already has a 2-year-old debut winner. Central Banker was a nice sprinter, 107 buyer and a Grade 2 stakes winner.
Yeah, I was going to say, and this is a horse, I believe at one point he was one of the choices in the Met Mile following up that victory in the Churchill Downs Stakes, Central Banker. So, I mean, clearly he has the, I don't want to say the ability, we don't know just yet, but it seems like he has all the sort of pieces that you would want in a sire. As far as the dam's concerned, she was a winner on turf. Whenever I see Colonel John in the family, you think maybe grass at the end of the day. It's going to be really interesting to see. I think this horse is very, very logical. Seems like Asmussen has had the, I don't want to say this race, obviously, circled, but this horse is really moving forward. You see that work 3 starts back, or 3 works back at Keeneland, that bullet in 46-3. The only thing that I found a little bit peculiar, Asmussen past 5 years, 2-year-old first-time starters at Belmont. He's only 1 for 28, but he's had a lot of success at Saratoga. So it makes me wonder, is this a horse that he wants to get a race into before the stakes races at Saratoga? Or is it a matter of he doesn't know what he has here? I don't know. We'll wait and see.
This is a New York bred who sold originally for $85,000 as a yearling, and then after breezing 10 at 2 at OBS March, a furlong in 10 and 2, sold for $260,000. Like you, I noticed that turf in the pedigree bothers me a little bit. The dam won a couple of turf routes, unraced on dirt. She's a half to a turf stakes winner in Quiet Meadow, and while the second dam was stakes placed at 2, it was going a mile on dirt. So a lot of route, a lot of turf on the bottom, but this horse looks interesting for Asmussen. You mentioned the fast workouts. The 3 is Olympic Express, who goes out for an underrated trainer in Danny Gargan. Here's a formulator fact. Over the past 5 years, with all 2-year-olds on dirt, Gargan's winning at almost a 30% clip with a $2.60 ROI. The problem is that the sire of Fleet Express has yet to sire a 2-year-old debut winner after 25 tries.
And you couple that with the fact that the dam herself, not to be rude, she didn't show much ability whatsoever. So now this is really sort of the conundrum for you. Do you want to go with the connections and the trainer who can clearly get a 2-year-old ready to fire? Or do you side with pedigree? If you're a pedigree fan, there's not a heck of a lot here to recommend. If you want to go with the connections, Danny Gargan does a very good job with the 2-year-old.
You're absolutely right about that. I guess you got to go with price. 15-1 on the morning line, somewhat appealing simply from the formulator fact and that this horse has a fast work 3 back on May 31st. You're right about the dam. 0 for 11. She placed on synthetic, was unraced on dirt. Her best buyer was a 53. The number 4 is Burnin' Through Gold. And Mark Henning is one of those underrated trainers with first-time starters, as we see from this formulator fact. Past 5 years, 2-year-old firsters in maiden special weights on the dirt at Belmont. 25% winners, almost an $8 return on investment. And this horse has a strong pedigree.
Yeah, absolutely. The dam, she was a winner on turf and dirt. You see Bernardini about 12.5% with a 2-year-old first-time starters. She's a half to Dan, one of you and I favorite horses, Mei Ling. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But then also on the dam side, you've got other really talented graded stakes winners, Aurora Lights, Master Command. From a pedigree standpoint, to me, this is kind of the horse to beat in here. Now, the question becomes, as good as Henning is with these 2-year-olds, and I agree with you, I mean, past 6 months with first-time starters in general, he's 3 for 8 with a 332 ROI. The pedigree seems like it leans a little bit more distance, and 5/8 of a mile To me, I'm a little bit concerned about that.
No, I agree with you 1,000% about distance. This horse, $150,000 yearling, did breeze a quarter mile in 21-2 before selling for $150,000 in March. I got to look at this horse's last workout, and he just dusted a $500,000 filly by Medaglia d'Oro, trained by Henning. So I think this horse might have a little bit of speed. Like you, though, a little bit concerned about the route pedigree, but the fact that David Aragona made this horse the 9-5 morning line favorite over the Pletcher horse, something tells me the word might already be out on the 4 Burnin' Through Gold. Wesley Ward is always dangerous, and he's got the 5 Odie. Let's take a look at the formulator fact for Odie. Past year, 2-year-olds moving from turf to dirt off a little bit of a layoff. 3 for 6, a $4.88 return on investment. This horse has burned a lot of money in his career, but we do know one thing. He's got a little bit of speed.
Certainly does. You saw that in that career debut down at Keeneland, and that's the MO for Ward's horses, especially down in Lexington. They usually pop and go. Look, disappointed at odds of 7-5. That field, that debut field, going 4.5 on the dirt, has come back awful. He came back on turf at Belmont. That field has come back awful. But I think you can at least give him the benefit of the doubt because that was on turf, and he had a little bit of an issue early on. Might have bumped into the gate breaking out of there. So maybe you want to give him the benefit of the doubt there. But at the same time, now Ward goes back from the turf to the dirt. I don't know what you want to do with this horse.
The number 6 is Gump. This is a Florida bred and a full brother to Tip Sheet, who is a stakes place 2-year-old going 2 turns. This horse ran quite well in his career debut to finish second. He was a 12-1, kind of cold on the board, and he ran okay. He was 5-2 going into the gate in the first race at Belmont on June the 10th, and he just flipped horribly in the gate and had to be a vet scratch. Javier was aboard him that day. Javier now ends up on Burnin' Through Gold for Mark Henning. This horse ran well enough in his debut. I wish it was a little faster, but I didn't like the fact that this horse had all kinds of issues at the gate last time out.
Agreed. I mean, you've got to be a little bit concerned until they prove to you that the gate is something that they can overcome. It's going to be always lingering in the back of your mind. I'm also always a little bit unsure of how to handle horses like this, where technically the highest last out buyer in the field, technically the fastest time form U.S. horse, but at the same time, it came on a sloppy sealed racing surface. So there's so much in there that I'm not entirely sure. Did he move up or did he appreciate the wet track a little bit more or not hate it as much as some of the other horses? And what's he going to do on a fast main track? It's one of those things, until I see him do it, I'm going to kind of hold back.
Completing the field is Wesley Ward's second entrant in the race. That's the 7 Ruling Empire. This is a son of Scat Daddy. Here's a Ward formulator fact. Past 4 years, 2-year-old second-time starters moving from turf to dirt in maiden special weight sprint races. Almost 30% winners, a 267 ROI. The Dam won on turf and also in an off-the-turf race. 74 buyer on turf, 67 buyer on dirt. But that field last time out at Indiana Grand, he's supposed to beat that field at 4-5. The 4th place finisher of that race is now 0 for 6.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I understand the runner-up came back and earned a 60 on turf in his next start, but it was a little bit disappointing. It feels like whenever Ward has a horse there at Indiana, they're supposed to win regardless of what the circumstances are, and the fact that this one bombed as badly as he did has got to be a little bit of a concern. I do suppose it's interesting that Luis Saez has the mount, and now they're going to go over to the dirt with him for the second lifetime start, and I also wonder, too, I know that was only a 5-horse field that he faced, he ran against 4 horses in the debut. I wonder if the outside draw at least gives him a little bit more of an opportunity now where he's going to be able to sit and play the break, see what the horses to the inside do. If nobody goes, maybe he goes and breaks for it. And if somebody else is just hell-bent on the lead, maybe they have an option to sit.
Let's take a look at our top picks for Wednesday's DRF Bets Race of the Day, kicking off the 50-cent late pick 4 at Belmont. You're going with the 4 Burnin' Through Gold. You get Javier aboard. You've got that big pedigree. The horse looks good. Certainly that last workout I thought was pretty impressive. And 9-5 on the morning line. This horse might be very, very interesting.
The big concern for me is the pedigree with the distance. I think he may have the best pedigree overall, but I wonder if he's going to appreciate a little bit longer. And again, this could be one of those instances we're getting into that sort of, I hate to say that gray area, but we're so close to Saratoga. You wonder if this is a matter of let's try to break the maiden, let's try to get off the duck and get ready for a race like the Sanford or any of those other big 2-year-old stakes up at the Spa. I think he's an interesting horse in here. I have faith in Henning, but again, throw out the Pletcher horse, throw out the Asmussen horse at your own cause or your own peril. This is going to be an interesting race here.
I'm going to actually try to beat the Pletcher horse in the pick 4, knowing that he's going to take some money. He's down towards the inside. There are some talented runners in here. I wonder if Central Banker is going to be a really early, win-early stallion. He already, again, has one juvenile debut winner. He was a top sprinter. We've got that big bullet workout out of the gate, the most recent one on June the 20th. He's a New York bred, sure. He's got some turf pedigree, sure. But I think the price will be right for Asmussen. He'll be my tepid top pick. And in the pick 4, I'm going to be leaning on your horse, the 4 Burning Through Gold, my horse, the 2 Bank It, and I'll use the 3, the Danny Gargan horse at a giant price, Olympic Express, as a deep backup. From a single race standpoint, 2, 3, 4, and 6 in the Wednesday DRF Bets Race of the Day, which you could play from home with a new DRF Bets account. Please sign up. Please grab $100 in free cash, and please start firing away. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Approximate post time for the 6th at Belmont on Wednesday, 4:14 Eastern. Good luck.